Hey guys, it's your girl Don't Touch My Toys, and I just received my pre-order from Ami Ami with the new release Re-ment set. Let's open this up together. So I pre-ordered this set a few months ago and it was just delivered by DHL today. This is the Re-ment Trattoria set. As you can see here, it has a lot of fun food miniatures inside. This set ended up costing me about $62 after the conversion rate and international shipping, which I think is worth it because I don't like to get duplicates. And a lot of times when you buy these separately, you run into that problem where you might get one that you don't want, or you might get a duplicate, and they're also overpriced. A lot of times when you find these at retailers in the United States, they're going to range from $10 to $16 sometimes, and you may not even get the one that you're really hoping for. So getting a complete set is definitely more bang for your buck, and you know that you're going to get everything that's pictured on the box. So in each Re-ment box, it gives you a little card here that has some paper cutouts that you can usually use to give you finishing touches for your diorama. So it looks like this one comes with a little painting, and then this looks to be a placemat. And then it also gives you a guide as to how things should look when they are set up and assembled. As you can see here, nothing is assembled just yet. So here's an up-close look at this first one with our wine, our raw ham log, and it looks like a little charcuterie board. So just to do a quick comparison between the Re-ment set and some of the more budget-friendly miniatures like the teeny tinies that are available at Five Below, this is what the quality of the Re-ment looks like versus some of our more budget-friendly miniatures that you can get at Five Below. As you can see here, these are still really good. I like these, and for the cost, you really can't beat them, but there's a lot of pixelation in them. They just lack that super realism that you're going to get from Re-ment. So I know some of the Re-ment collectors that have been doing it for years and years and years may see differences even in some of these new releases versus some of the vintage released Re-ment. I only started collecting Re-ment in 2012, so most of my stuff is modern, but I do have a couple of pieces that are considered, I guess, vintage. So here's one of my older pieces here. This is one of the pieces that came out in the European World Tour collection, if I'm not mistaken, and that was released in 2004. But you can see that there's quite a bit of texture here in the miniature, which really helps with that realism. I do enjoy this one. However, I wish that the charcuterie specifically had a little bit more texture. It looks like everything is mostly painted on, which kind of gives it a more artificial appearance. Don't get me wrong, it's still a great miniature and it looks better in person than the ones from Five Below, but still, I wish it had a little bit more texture there. All right, moving on. So this one's really cute. You get some tiramisu here, a teeny tiny little coffee. I absolutely love the decor piece here, but I want to say that the coffee is probably going to be really small for a 1/6 scale type of situation. Let me put it in the hands of my model here so you could see what it would look like in like a Barbie or a Lika or Takara doll. So this is my model for today. This is my Takara Jenny doll, and you can see what the cup would look like in her hand. So the plate looks fine. It's the cup that's a little bit teeny tiny, but maybe it's just a really small cup of espresso. On a table, I don't think it would look bad. As you can see, the plates and the food items generally work with 1/6 scale. It's a lot of times that I find that the drinks and cups, things like that, are more true to 1/12 scale, and sometimes they can look really small against a Barbie or a Takara doll's hands. Moving on to the next one. We have some pasta here, and it looks like there's a little crab. Some crab pasta. Okay, so first things first, I love the little plate that it comes on. I think that's super cute. We get some wine. We have a little corkscrew here. I'm rather obsessed with the corkscrew because this is going to look great in my bar scene. And then we have some soup. So now to get nitpicky about the set, I am a bit disappointed by the soup. I feel like it definitely looks fake. And that's not what I expect when I get Re-ment. I really think that Re-ment was next level with miniatures, and I don't know, this is lacking for me. It looks very artificial. So here's a look at the crab. It's not bad, but again, I feel like it's lacking some of that extra texture that we used to get in the older Re-ment sets. So just for comparison purposes, I have another piece of seafood from an older Re-ment set. This one came out in 2006, but take a look at this bad boy. I mean, he's got that gloss, that extra texture, the paint and shading is just right. So when you put them side by side like this together, am I crazy, or do you spot differences here? Because to me, this just doesn't look like it had as much attention and care put into it. So some of the little extras that come inside this one is a menu, which I think is really cute. I'm gonna use that. And then it looks like this is just like some signage for the restaurant. All right, we're halfway there. This is our fourth box. Let's see what we got inside. So we have some bolognese in this one. Let's get into it. So this one comes with some pasta and bread as well as a drink. I'm not upset at this one. I think this one looks pretty good. I do love the little detail of having a bite of pasta on the fork as well. That's super cute. Moving on to our next box. This is my first Re-ment miniature of pizza, so don't have much to compare it to, but it's not bad. There is some shading around the crust, which is nice, and I do like the dripping cheese element, but I don't know. I still feel like it's missing that extra wow factor to it. I do like the beer that it comes with, and so for comparison purposes, this is going to be great with your 1/6 dolls. Here is the beer with my Takarajini, and this is going to look great in my bar diorama. Moving on, we're getting close to the end here, and it looks like we have some fondue. So let's take an up-close look here at some of these miniatures. This is the caprese salad and the fondue set. It's cute. I like that the fondue has functional qualities to it. You can take off the top there and remove it, and then you see the little lighting mechanism down below. That's a nice little touch. We're getting down to the last two here, so I know which ones these have to be. So this was actually one of the ones I was very excited to get, so let's take a look at all the details of it. So here we have it out of the box here. I'm not upset at this one. I like the texture that they put on the egg. The color of it also looks really nice. The steak looks pretty good. It has texture to it. They did a really good job at adding that little bloodiness to the meat. There's also a little bit of that shine that you get there that gives it a little bit more realism against that texture. The potatoes also have a nice brown with texture and paint. So this one is a pretty decent Re-ment set, in my opinion. And we're finally on our last box here. So here it is all set up out of the box. This is supposed to be like a poached whitefish. I've actually never had this dish before. So I like elements of this one. I'm just not a huge fan of the way the fish in particular looks. I think that these other food items look pretty decent. I like the translucent broth or butter sauce that's at the bottom, but it's just the fish that's throwing me off here. So I want to show you once again Takarajini holding the wine glass. So this one will look perfect with your 1/6 dolls. So here's an overview of all of the Re-ment miniatures that we unboxed today. This set is available on amiami.com. It's called Re-ment Trattoria, and it's currently retailing for about 35 USD, 5,300 yen, give or take. So what are my final conclusions on this set? I don't think it's a terrible set. I think that it has great variety here, and there are some great pieces that it does include. I also enjoy that a lot of the drinks are great scale for Barbies, since that is what I generally use my miniatures for. There's just a few of these that I'm disappointed in that I thought they could have put a little extra love and detail into. Those being the soup for one. I wasn't a huge fan of the fish. And one of the ones I was most excited about was the ham, which I thought was lacking some texture and realism. Some of my favorites out of the set were the pasta dish and the steak. The only reason I'm being so nitpicky about these Re-ment miniatures is because now we have a lot of options out there in the miniature world. At one time, Re-ment was really all we had for realistic miniatures. With brands like Zuru Mini Brands now and Teeny Tinies coming out, we have other options that are really affordable and accessible. Now, do I feel like these brands are on the same level as Re-ment? Not quite. However, I feel like they are going to continue to evolve, and who knows, maybe one day we will have Re-ment quality miniatures from some of these competing brands. So what do you think? Do you plan on purchasing this Re-ment set, and do you have any favorites out of this bunch? I'd love to hear your feedback in the comments, and until next time, I'll see you later.